The process of the week that I chose is time management. And this might sound like, a boring thing, but it's actually relative to what we're talking about today in the sense that documenting of processes, using of processes, it's a whole new way to work. And sometimes it requires looking at efficiencies. So this is in the library, Time Management Process, in the Guiding the Business Library. And within this process, there are some what I would call just true timeless ideas for time management. I study time management a lot because I'm interested in the subject, and I think that people, come up with new things. But the basic kind of Covey approach that we've all known forever has lived forever because it works. The reason time management doesn't work is because people never do it long enough. It takes, I can't remember what they say, but maybe 100 times of doing something to make it a habit. So habits take effort. And if you look at things in your life or things about your time that you want to change, unless you create a new habit, then they never change. So time management takes effort to really gain the benefit of. This concept is important because working strategically is kind of the same thing. It takes effort. You can think of 1,000 reasons not to do it. You have that little yeah but in your head going, yeah, but I'm busy, yeah, but I need sales, yeah, but that's not important right now, yeah, but that's not going to help me tomorrow. What that voice in your head is stopping you from doing is getting the long-term result of working strategically. Because what you do today and now is not going to benefit you tomorrow, but 6 months from now it will. So time management is the same idea. These things that you're doing now in the moment may not give you an immediate result, but if you do them over time, then it saves an incredible amount of time and change the way you go to work every day. So there are some work plans up here on daily planning. This is just kind of like a step-by-step of why it's important. There's even like a little video here that you can watch. Daily activity logs, so this explains why that's important. Eliminating interruptions, this is a great work plan. A lot of us get interrupted by little things, and it's just a little bit of time here and there, but if you add it all up, you can see what an incredible time waste it is. Like, answering your phone every time it rings, checking your email every 5 seconds. These distractions or things that we feel like are the most immediate thing tend to be the biggest time wasters. Other things like having a disorganized desk, not having things filed correctly, dumping papers into a pile and then spending 10 minutes trying to find something. So little things like that, which add up to a big amount of time in the end. So these little eliminator are good kind of techniques. There's a couple articles in here about how to eliminate interruptions, the big hole in your day. This is a good one by Dr. Wetmore. Cost of interruptions, if you aren't buying what I'm saying about how much time you're wasted by these little interruptions that happen all the time, take a look at this article because it's and there's a spreadsheet that helps you track it because it is huge in the end. And speaking of interruptions, before when I was talking about having these one-on-one meetings with a manager, so employee to manager, and having them be scheduled on a regular basis, once a week, once a month, this is a huge time saver because things you can teach your employees that things that can be saved for the meeting should be saved for the meeting. And that stops them and you as the manager, if I'm speaking to managers, from interrupting each other all the time. So things that can wait, and you put it on the agenda and wait for the meeting. Don't go in and interrupt someone, or don't go in and interrupt the manager or the manager to the employee when it's not necessary. So the heart of this process is down here in these forms, and we realize that you may have Outlook and other systems that you use for calendaring and time management and things like that. So these are just basic actual Excel spreadsheet or Word forms that you can use, but this can easily be translated into Google Docs or Outlook, whatever you're using. This tool here, the Daily Planner, is a good tool. Outlook has sort of a version of this where you can create priority tasks so you can use this in Outlook. But basically the heart of this is everyone's got a schedule of things they have to accomplish during one day. If you have meetings or appointments or hard set times that you're meeting, then you put them into your schedule. You then have high priority tasks, phone calls, and other tasks. So the idea of this is at the end of every day or at the beginning of every day. So this is what I mean about creating a routine. Spend 5 minutes planning out your day, whether it be at the end of one day or the beginning of the next. Plan out what you're going to do that day. So put in all your hard appointments here, and then put in your high priority tasks for the day. These are the things that you can reasonably get done that day. High priority phone calls that you have to make. Leave unscheduled time in between meetings. Schedule in your strategic time. Schedule in the times when you're going to return phone calls. So plan it out for the day. Just looking at your calendar and seeing your appointments isn't enough. You want to think about, okay, throughout the day, what am I going to try to accomplish? This takes, for me, it takes like 5 minutes. It's not that huge of an exercise. And then I can use it to help keep me on track throughout the day. What are these high priority tasks that I want to get done? Did I find time to do them during the day? If not, I roll it over into the next day. This really helps against that feeling of you come into the office and you got all this stuff to do and you get to the end of the day and you're like, well, I didn't get anything done. What did I do today? And it's just because you got pulled in 50,000 different directions and got inefficient with what you were doing. So at least, and I still have those days, but at least I can look back at this and say, well, what happened? Why could I not accomplish what I planned that day? And it goes back to things like this, the interruptions. And then I learn from that, and then I put it back into the next day. So some type of version of this is a really great, effective way to start to try to manage your time. It's not a huge task. It's something small that anyone can start with. A time log. So we do time logging just for billable time and tracking time. A lot of businesses need to do this for billing reasons. Some need to do it for efficiency reasons and don't. So this is just an exercise where you just log in what you're doing throughout that day. If you do this daily planning exercise and you just can't make it work, you're just like, what happened today? Then this is what you need to default to. So fill out a daily time log for a couple weeks and then analyze it. Look and see, what did you do? What were your interruptions? What was causing a waste of time? If you have an employee who you feel is inefficient, not because they're a bad employee, but maybe because they're overburdened or they've got too many results in too many different areas. So be open to the fact that maybe how you've asked them to spend their time is inefficient, or they're just not the best time managers. Irregardless of the reason, this is a good way to figure out what's going on. So ask the employee to fill the time log out for a few weeks and then sit with them together with an open mind and say, what is interrupting you? How is time being wasted here? Think about the eliminating interruptions and come up with a few strategies that might help them be more efficient with their time. Some of the efficiencies might be things that the company has to do for them. Having them have less accountabilities or accountabilities in spanning departments or too many results, it becomes inefficient. Or having them be kind of the answer person for everything. So this will kind of put a microscope on it and illuminate what's happening with that employee. So over here in the control panel, there's you can use these tools inside of TouchStone. So down here is the time management process. So I can go to this and I can fill out a daily planning checklist if I want. I can fill out the daily planning form right here. So here's the form inside of TouchStone. Again, if you have Outlook or other ways to do this, then certainly do that. But if you don't, this is a good place to do it. This is where I do it. We use Outlook, or we actually use Infusionsoft, But I like this better because I can see it like on one sheet, and then I can refer from one day to the next. And some days I forget to do it, and so, or I just don't do it. I don't forget, I just don't do it. And so then I'll do it the next day, and then I can look at these together and see kind of what happened during the week. It's just easier for me to see it this way. But you can go right in here and fill this form out and then save it back to TouchStone. Then the next day when I'm planning for the following day, I go back to it, and then I call that form up again, and I can view what happened yesterday. For time logging, there are other tools to use for time logging. This is just another version of, this is in the time management process as well. But here, these fields are all live, so I can put in the activity, and I can do begin to end, and I kind of track this all day. You can open this in a second window just by right-clicking and saying open in a second window, and then I've got TouchStone open in one window and this open in another. So it can fill out this daily time log every week, every day, and save it back to TouchStone. Then if my manager wants to go and look at it, they can go up here to reports and go to management review. And down here, I could look at it for all employees, or I could go to a specific employee, and then I hit run report. And then I can see, all the time logs that were done here in this list. If you choose nothing, you can see all employees. If I choose the save as, like I'm looking for a specific day, if they saved it as that day and I hit run report, then I can see that day. Here's the time log for Monday. Or I can search for a date range right here. And then you see a list of these time logs. So there's a lot more to the control panel and management review. And again, we're going to be talking about this in a whole meeting. But think about what your version of time management would be. Think about some of the basic kind of concepts for that. I think this gets lost a lot in businesses. Think about interruptions. Even if you could eliminate a few interruptions a day, over the long haul, it's a huge amount of time. Think about your employees. Make this the process of the week, maybe, where you all sit and think, what would make us more efficient? We used to do this kind of exercise around time management, and we made it like a quarterly thing where we talk about time management. And sometimes within departments, other departments are making that department less efficient because of inefficiencies in that other department. So having this conversation about time management, you would hear the employees say, well, we can't get payroll done because the operations department never gives us the timesheets late, and then they're inaccurate because they don't fill them out right. So then we have to go back to them. So you get this interdepartmental conversation going. And what you can do is you can solve these long-term inefficiencies that have been going on forever, and you can solve them with processes. So you can build a new time tracking process for the operations department that they have to follow, which then increases efficiency within the payroll department.